Hey folks, excuse me. Today we are making egg roll in a bowl. This is a recipe that I'd actually never heard of. A couple clients told me about. We are using ground pork. I try to keep these videos as short as I can, so I already got these started. We're using ground pork. You could use, obviously, ground beef, ground chicken, or even ground turkey. I got a fatty pork that was on sale today. So it is, I mean, pork like this is very fatty. So like almost, I wouldn't have bought it if it weren't on sale. But I'm going to drain out as much of the fat as I can. And I'm going to log it as if it's 80-20 ground pork. Which 80-20, that's by weight. So 80% is lean, 20% is fat. But from a calorie standpoint, you're getting about as much calories from fat as from protein. So I put the pork in there and I haven't flipped it yet because I'd like it to be as brown as possible on that one side. So if you see that, like I like that browning. I don't know if you can see that, but so I'm going to keep it going like that. Oh yeah, that's a good example. That kind of brown. So I'm going to keep it like this for just a couple of minutes. I'll drain out the fat. Then I'll throw in the garlic, sesame oil. Okay, these are necessary for this recipe, and then all of this is optional. I got the brand coleslaw, just shredded cabbage and carrots, because this was 89 cents. You can get nice salad mixes for like $3. But in this economy, you know, that made the most sense to me. I always like any Asian food with lime. And then I also decided to add shallots. If you are ever at a restaurant and you're like, man, this is so much better than what I make at home, and you can't figure out why it is, the reason for that is either or some combination of shallots, sugar, and butter. So anytime you want to kick the flavor up on something that you're doing, just throw some shallots in there. It'll be a lot better. This is fish sauce. If you like Asian food, this is going to be great. It is very smelly. It smells terrible, but tastes delicious. This isn't that expensive. This is like $2 or $3, and a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to just add that for a little bit of flavor. And then I might add an egg or two, just because I might be feeling it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the garlic in there. This is obviously low carb at this point. I've got some rice cooking over there. I will add rice. If you're strength training regularly, I happen to have a heavy day today of working out, so I'm gonna need some carbs to recover from that. Okay, you can see just how fatty that pork is. Anytime you're eating a meat in a restaurant, it's going to be a fattier meat because they really are more delicious, even though you kind of feel sick after you eat it. And it's also cheaper. You'll notice that meats are more expensive proportional to their protein content. And so that's probably why this was on sale and it was so cheap. All right. Let's go ahead and just do this the old-fashioned way. I mean, look at all that. That's coming off. I think I said it earlier, but if I didn't, I'm going to drain as much fat out as I can, and then I'm going to log it as 80-20. Wow, this is like a great just reminder. People a lot of times will tell me like, yeah, like I'm trying to get more protein, I'm eating bacon. And it's like helpful to remember that a lot of these meats have very, very little protein content because they're just fat. We're going to need at least 3 squares on this. Especially if I'm going to put in any sesame oil or anything. Just look at all that. Whew. If you're watching this at home, you could probably fast forward a little bit. even if you're watching it not at home. I could have dumped the pork out in a strainer like this, but I thought this would save time. I'm not sure if it will, but it'll at least save the cleaning of another dish. There we go. Let's get all that out. All right, now for the shallots. I'll toss in a little sesame oil at this point. Sesame oil is super flavorful, obviously, so a little goes a long way. Whew, it smells really, really good now. In order to speed this up, because time is, you know, super important, I'm going to add just a little bit of water just to kind of steam this cabbage. It'll obviously cook down. I'm not sure how much it will. We'll just have to kind of see by trial and error. I'm going to keep the heat pretty darn high on this. At this point, the earlier you season, the more you can get away with. Like if you salt something late, it's going to be very salty and not as good. But if you salt it early, the salt has more time to kind of work its way through all the food. I'm going to add a little bit of this sesame in there, not too much. I'll add most of it at the end. I will do a little fish sauce right now though. A little bit of that is all I'll need. So this is pretty much it. I can kind of walk away and, you know, check email, brush the dog, just all those simple things in life we need to do that takes time. You could just leave this on the stovetop for as long as you wanted. I'll probably just fold in a little bit more of this just because we can and just because I have it. But that's pretty much it. This could easily be 4 meals. If you wanted to add in maybe an egg or two, it definitely will. I probably will do it at the very end just because I've got it and I'm really hungry. This could easily be 4 meals. I probably would have, like if I were to make this more regularly, I might do a mix of like ground pork and ground turkey. Ground turkey if it's a little bit leaner. I'd get a bit more protein per serving. Actually, I could probably get a lot more protein per serving just for that. But man, I think, let's see, how many minutes is that? 9 minutes? Yeah. Did a good amount of talking. Serve it over rice, ton of veggies, cruciferous veggies, because that cabbage is cruciferous, which is, cruciferous vegetables are probably your most nutrient-dense vegetables that you have. Garlic's pretty darn good for you. Golly. I'll let you know how it is. In the comments, I'll taste it and tell you how it goes. hey, make it simple. If your meal prep isn't simple, you won't keep doing it. So it better be this simple or more. I'm gonna go ahead and